the King of the Ring tournament 2015, back for the first time since 2010, being won by the very own Bad News Barrett. So I'm very happy about this. I'm a huge Bad News Barrett fan. I think it's great that he's finally getting pushed, but take it with a grain of salt. The guy's been pushed in the past, and Sheamus, when he won King of the Ring, he lost every single match he was a part of. So you got to wait and see. But RJ, any initial thoughts on the 2015 King of the Ring tournament?
I thought it was good. Some people, I think the lineup could have been a lot better. I think it was kind of like the best of the mid-card, I guess, besides R-Truth. I don't even know why he was in it. We were talking about this earlier. R-Truth and Stardust should not have been a match. Should have been R-Truth and Harper and have Harper going further. But Wade Barrett's good for me. Hopefully he drops the Bad News stick, and hopefully he's treated right. He's been pushed and de-pushed so many times. The guy just needs some direction. So hopefully this King Barrett stuff works out for him, and he gets back to his line of work that he had when he came out of the Nexus.
I'm hoping so. The guy's he hasn't been really given many breaks, and when he has been, he's either literally gotten broken his arm and whatever. I mean, he's had so many injuries over the years, but they give him these stupid-ass gimmicks, and then they expect him to get them over, in which he does, but then they pull the rug right from underneath him. They told him to stop delivering bad news and all this other stuff, so it's been really weird, the booking of Barrett the last couple of months, but I do look forward to seeing how he progresses as King of the Ring. I mean, he's a fellow European, the third consecutive European to win the King of the Ring tournament, but like I said before, though, Sheamus was not very well booked when he won the crown, when he won the tournament 5 years ago, so only time will tell as far as how Barrett will be booked going forward. I mean, this is coming off of how many months of losses for Bad News Barrett? This guy's been so badly booked since he came back from injury back in January. So I'm hoping for the best. I've got my fingers crossed that big things are in store for Mr. Bad News. But Zach, what were your thoughts on the King of the Ring tournament, the combatants, and the eventual winner, Bad News Barrett?
I was fine with the King of the Ring tournament. I thought it was pushed way too quickly. I felt it should have been expanded out a couple more weeks. Maybe just go make a 1 month long thing and maybe sell your final at Payback. But I did like this tournament. I'm fine with Bad News Barrett being the King of the Ring. I do think this could lead to something in the future for Barrett, but as you mentioned before, the last time the King of the Ring was won by Sheamus, he was not booked very well at all. In fact, he lost almost every single match. So take that with a grain of salt, as you mentioned. But hopefully this renews some sort of push in Barrett, and maybe we get some more interesting ideas with Bad News Barrett delivering some bad news from a throne, maybe, since he is the king. Mm-hmm. So who knows? We'll see.
Something like that would be really cool to see. But as you mentioned, though, Barrett is the guy that's been, the guy's been so horrendously used since he came back, much less over the last 5 years. But you made a really good point in that the King of the Ring, in that I read a report just before, like about an hour or two ago, and how legitimate this is, I mean, you never really know. Like we said, we got to take everything you read with a grain of salt that you read on the internet, much less, the dirt sheets and whatever. But I guess there was a rumor, there was plans at one point to stretch the King of the Ring tournament out for a few weeks. And I don't know why they rushed it to only 1 week, but I do like the aspect that it's on the WWE Network. I'm not saying do it all in one night as they have before. They've done that with the '08 show, the 2010 installment. I think, as you said, it would have been better had they stretched it out a little bit more, not to just back-to-back nights, and maybe do the finals at Payback or whatever. There was a lot of speculation as to whether to bring back the pay-per-view itself, which I think would be really, really cool. The King of the Ring pay-per-view hasn't been around since Lesnar won it back in 2002. And I thought that was a cool show, and they can bring that back hopefully down the line. This was only a test run, but more WWE Network original content, the better, which I think is awesome for the network. A lot of cool stuff coming up this week, but I do agree that it should have been stretched out a little bit more. RJ, do you feel like it could have been expanded upon a few more weeks, or do you think just the 2-night deal was fine?
I think for who was in it, I think the 2 nights were fine. I think if it had more main eventers in it, I think it could have easily spread it on a couple more weeks, but there wasn't that many people in this tournament that people were really interested in seeing win. I don't think most people really cared. Once Ambrose got out, I don't think people really cared, and Ziggler at that point. But I think if you had the guys like Reigns, Wyatt, Cena, Rusev, any of those guys, like even Rollins could have been in it, people would have been more interested, and they could have easily expanded more than the 2 nights. But I think they just test run and see what happened. But how good can a 2-day test run really be?
Well, I mean, I think that for the combatants alone, I think the booking of it was weird. I mean, my major flaw with it was having R-Truth in there, much less win and get him to the next round. I mean, at the expense of Cody Rhodes, Stardust, whatever, I thought it was stupid. But that being said, though, I feel like they could have been doing so much more with this tournament in terms of the combatants. And, I mean, you can only expect so much when they throw it out there at the last minute. I mean, they threw it out there as literally, you blink and you missed it, the advertisement for the tournament. And I feel like they could have been doing more with it. But that being said, though, I feel like with this tournament, if you put more people that more people cared about, like you said, Ryback and Wyatt and all those guys, it could have fared better. It could have fared better for the tournament itself. And maybe, I mean, like what was the opening match tonight in the semifinals? The second semifinals was Barrett and Neville, or Barrett and
R-Truth R-Truth and Barrett.
And the first one was Neville and Sheamus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like by that point, when Neville won, you know Barrett's going to win. Like, there's no excitement. Why not just flip it around? Or, I don't know. I feel like the way they could have booked it could have been a little bit better. And the stuff with Ziggler, like we talked about before the show, with having him cost Ambrose the win, was a little bit weird too. Why not just have him attack him right off the bat? Like, some weird logistical issues. But still, though, I like the tournament. I like the fact that Bad News Barrett won. It's a nice little gimmick for him. And like you said before, RJ hopefully can kind of either move away from that, or as Zach said, maybe give Bad News from the throne. So I like the King of the Ring tournament. Hopefully it's here to stay for years to come, and hopefully it does a great deal in getting Barrett back on track.